Hello! So we're doing Penny Lane this week. We'll go over the Piccolo Trumpet solo and maybe another spot or two. But first, if you haven't seen the video, definitely go check it out. I did this arrangement 6 years ago, and then I've redone it now just to kind of see how far I've come and what I can accomplish with the same piece. The first one is really bad, but it's a cool thing because now you can see over 6 years the trajectory, and hopefully it continues in that direction, obviously. But you know, 6 years ago I didn't do any video editing. My audio editing was very shoddy. There was no post-production. It was just very raw, and the arranging was not very good. Lots of parallel fifths and like big things that I've learned over the years not to do. I know how to voice things. There were lots of unisons and voice crossing. There's just so much. I changed the key to make it easier for myself, and the new one I brought it back to the original key and you know, 5 sharps and B major, but you can do that now. So anyway, so like I said, this is in a nasty key, but that's what the original is in, so I like to keep it the same. And let's talk it through. So the Piccolo Trumpet solo I have split up into 2 bits. So we have the first trumpet, or first trombone I should say, does most of it, and then the second trombone takes over for a little bit. So okay, so first things first, if you can't play any of those things at that tempo or out of context, you need to start working on range or whatever it is that's giving you trouble, because this is not an easy passage to play. Maybe you're uncomfortable with the key, so work on that. But that's something that is in the way of you playing it and not a problem, right? Because if you can play the notes, it's just a matter of figuring out what those notes are if you're having trouble reading. But if you can't play the notes specifically out of context, like if you can't go, if you can't play that, you have to come up with some sort of exercise for yourself to work on that, and then over the, you know, weeks and months and years, you can play that more effortlessly. Can't say that word effortlessly, but so let's just say that's what's giving you trouble. I would work on some lip slurs from last week. Go back and check it out. Probably lip trills. We can go over that in a piece that actually has lip trills in the future, but in short, a lip trill is flipping between 2 partials without moving the slide, usually, and just using your lips and your tongue. So really, what I'm doing here is just one. Just a quick one, okay? So, a way to work on that specific thing would be and then like you make that faster, do it with a metronome, make sure that you can do it as fast or as slow as you want it to, and there's nothing in the way. So these are kind of things, and then you can work on the range by just slowly doing that. Do it like muscle training. You can talk about this stuff once you've isolated the problem. So let's assume there is no problem. You can play any of these notes out of context. So now it's about putting them together and making music. So we've got some double tonguing. So that one happens twice, the next one happens twice. Again, isolate it. Can you play it out of context? If so, then you can put them together and actually start doing it. If not, you have to cut it apart and figure out why. And then the next one. So, start tuning that, start figuring it out, put them together, and then work on timing. big thing with this is that it's triplets. You can get lost in it because there's these 16th notes. Da 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 da. Doesn't make sense with that because you want it to be da 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 da, which isn't what it is. So a good way to think about this is take out the second 16th in each of these sequences and it'd be, let's see. So if you can think of it that way, which is hard to do, da 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 da. That's what you should be hearing. And then you can add in the 16th notes, but really for me, I don't mind getting lost in it as long as it stays in time, but you have to hit beat 2 of that second bar. Da da digga da digga da digga da digga da da digga da da. So I would just start on the second bar. Like even that was a little late. Da digga da da. Really got to get in there. So, with that in mind, when I'm playing the whole thing, these little 16th notes, they happen, just make sure they're in time, and then hit beat 2, and the rest of it should just kind of happen since it's just these triplets. Okay, so hopefully you can kind of see. Now if there's something going wrong, you just have to isolate it. Figure out what's going wrong. Can you play it out of context? If you link it together with some other things, are you not hearing it right? Is the slide in the wrong spot? You have to isolate the problem and then figure out how to fix it. That's, you know, the thing that sounds obvious, but then people miss. They don't do it. They just keep trying to hammer it in like, oh, if I just keep playing it over and over, it'll get better. You have to figure out what the problem is and start addressing it. So now the second trombone picks up. I don't know. They're just more notes. Just play them. Well, I'll show you this idea. If we go back to the first trombone. So what I do, again, if you can't play the high E, you have to figure out how. You have to work on your range. You have to work on your endurance. If you can play the high E, which let's see if I can. Okay, so I'm going to leave all that in there. You can hear me finding it. E natural is one of my least favorite notes. It's just in a very weird place in the harmonic series to be in tune. So once you find it, hammer it in. Figure out where it sits. Maybe play it different tempos, come in, soft, loud. But then once you figure out what it feels like to play that, start there. Don't take your lips off the horn and then go back down to the bottom and come back up. I'll show you what I mean. Right? Because my lips are set on that high E, so as long as I can awkwardly play the low notes and try to make them sound pretty good, once we get up to the top it's not a problem. So the trick is to know what that feels like enough to start it there. So in the middle of this phrase, all of a sudden I have to set up for a high E even though I'm playing a low A. Right? So get into the flow of that. And now the last step is to not freak out about it. So after I've done that a few times, I can actually breathe and not worry about it and have a little bit more confidence going into it, make a little bit more music with it. So I know that's where I'm going. I want to play that whole phrase even, so. So, get through the whole phrase and know where the phrase is going. You can take breaths here and there, but know that you're trying to make music. You're not just trying to hit all the notes. So, keep that in mind. I hope this is helpful. I don't know if it is. try not to hurt yourselves playing this. If you can't play it out of context, you have to start working on these things in your daily routine until you can, and then you can start working on something like this. Don't try to do it all at once. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, leave comments, let me know what you liked, what you didn't, and I'll keep it in mind for next time. Subscribe if you haven't, and see you soon.